Welcome to the Psych Ignition. There is a chair that is always empty, a space at the table that remains unfilled. In the album of family memory, there is a figure who exists at the edges, fading from the frame. The celebrations happen without him. The traditions turn year after year in his palpable absence, and the stories are told to explain the void. They say he is distant, detached, that he doesn't understand the bonds that hold everyone else together. They call him ungrateful, a loner, a puzzle no one can solve. The family narrative hardens into stone. There is something wrong with him. But what if the story is wrong? What if his absence isn't a failure to connect, but a different kind of connection? What if it isn't a rejection of love, but a fierce, unspoken commitment to a truth so profound it requires his entire life to honor it? Today, we are not just exploring a personality type. We are pulling back the curtain on a silent war fought in living rooms and around dinner tables across the world. A war between the collective and the sovereign self. This is not about family dysfunction. This is about evolution. We are speaking of the man who moves to a rhythm only he can hear. The man whose loyalty is to his own integrity above all else. The man who has been called every name for his quiet refusal to perform. This is about the Sigma male. And we are going deep, beyond the polite excuses, beyond the hurt feelings, beyond the surface-level judgments. We are journeying into the psychological and spiritual undercurrents that make the standard family gathering not just uncomfortable for him, but intolerable. We will navigate the invisible currents of conformity, the ghosts of outdated identities, the tyranny of forced celebration, and the soul's sacred mandate for solitude. This is not an apology for him. It is a translation, a decoding of a language of being that the world often refuses to understand. If you are that man, you will feel seen in a way you may have never experienced. You will find the vocabulary for what you've always known in your bones. If you love that man, you will be granted a lens, unflinching but compassionate, to see the world from his solitary peak. Prepare to challenge everything you thought you knew about family, obligation, and the true meaning of connection. We are not just examining why he is absent. We are uncovering 12 reasons why his presence elsewhere is so vitally important. This is more than psychology. This is a map of a different way to be human. The ignition sequence starts now. Number 1. The refusal to witness his becoming. The first and most profound wound is this. The family system refuses to witness, let alone acknowledge who the Sigma male has actually become. They are archaeologists clinging to a fossil, mistaking it for the living man. Their gaze is locked on a snapshot. The boy of 16, the young man of 22. A fixed image crystallized in the amber of their memory. They have built a museum in their minds, and he is its main exhibit, forever labeled with past identities. The expertise he's forged in silence, the perspectives carved from solitude, the entire life architecture he's built stone by solitary stone. It is all rendered invisible. This is more than annoying. This is psychological annihilation. To be treated as a ghost of your former self is to be erased in the present. For the average person, this might be a mild frustration. For the Sigma, who has consciously, deliberately sculpted his own soul through trial, reflection, and relentless self-honesty, it is an intolerable violation. So at the gathering, he faces a hellish choice: perform a pantomime of a self that no longer lives, becoming a traitor to his own journey, or stand in his truth and be met with a chorus of confusion, correction, and subtle rejection. He is forced to either bury his authentic self or watch it be met with family-wide indifference. He chooses, instead, to preserve his integrity by removing himself from the stage altogether. His absence is not a rejection of them. It is a fierce protection of the self they refuse to see. Number 2. the conformity enforcement engine. Understand this. The family gathering is not merely a meeting, it is a factory for normality, a silent, smiling assembly line where the raw materials of individual choice are pressed into acceptable, uniform shapes. And the sigma male is the recalcitrant element that refuses to be molded. The family operates on a blueprint, expectations about career, relationship, lifestyle, and values. The gathering is where quality control happens. Through loving questions and concerned observations, social pressure is applied. Everyone else has either conformed or mastered the art of appearing to do so. But the Sigma stands apart. His choices are deliberate manifestations of a different internal compass. He didn't stray from the path. He chose a different mountain to climb. And so the gathering transforms into a subtle, relentless intervention. When are you going to settle down? Why not get a real job? Don't you think about stability? These are not questions. They are surgical tools designed to remove the anomaly. For others, this pressure is the warm blanket of belonging. It reassures them they are on the right track. For the Sigma, it is a direct assault on his autonomy, the sacred ground of his being. He is being told, politely, that his hard-won self-determination is an error, that he should surrender his inner sovereignty to the committee. He will not. So the gathering becomes a silent war of attrition. Every moment is spent deflecting, parrying, defending the fortress of his own life choices against an army that believes it's saving him. The exhaustion is not from socializing, it's from the psychic toll of maintaining his borders under constant, friendly fire. He stops attending not because he rejects family, but because he cherishes his sovereignty, and they mistake his fortitude for defiance. Number 3. The regression trap. Beyond the present-day pressures lie older, more ancient currents. Every family is a theater of childhood, with fixed roles and well-rehearsed scripts. The caretaker, the star, the rebel, the black sheep. The Sigma male was assigned a role long ago. He has spent years, perhaps a lifetime, doing the profound work of psychological escape. He has built an adult identity through conscious effort, creating distance from those formative dynamics, healing old wounds in solitude, and rewriting his own internal narrative. Then he steps into the family gathering. And within minutes, the spell is cast. The old triggers are pulled. The parent speaks, and he is no longer a man of agency, but a son being lectured. The sibling jests, and it carries the familiar dismissal of a childhood hierarchy. The patterns snap back into place with neural precision. This is psychological regression, the involuntary slide back into an outgrown self. For many, this regression is a comforting return to the known, a nostalgic, temporary surrender. For the Sigma, it is a form of violence. It unravels his hard-won evolution. It drags him back into a psychological cage he painstakingly dismantled. After a gathering, he doesn't feel connected. He feels compromised, as if days of internal progress have been stripped away. His absence, therefore, is a non-negotiable boundary for his psychological integrity. He is protecting the adult he built from the child they insist on addressing. He isn't running from them. He is guarding the sanctuary of his own development. Number 4. The uncomfortable mirror. The Sigma male possesses a heightened perceptual clarity. He senses the unspoken currents in a room. And at the family gathering, he becomes acutely aware of a difficult reality. His authentic presence makes everyone else uncomfortable. He is a living paradox to their worldview. His contentment without traditional milestones, his success on unconventional terms, his peace in solitude. These are quiet, unanswerable challenges to their chosen paths. He doesn't utter a word of judgment, yet his existence whispers a question they may not be ready to hear. Is there another way? Parents may feel their life choices subtly questioned. Siblings may feel their conformity highlighted. Extended family fumbles for scripts. They cannot ask about the wife, the kids, the corporate ladder. His very being creates a low-frequency tension, a static in the atmosphere of easy belonging. He feels this. He senses the slight strain, the forced conversations, the defensive humor. His difference, merely by occupying space, creates a subtle friction. The socially conditioned response would be to minimize himself, to perform a palatable version of normality to put the collective at ease. But the Sigma's core integrity forbids this self-betrayal. He will not wear a mask for their comfort. Yet he also bears no desire to be a catalyst for distress. So he makes a conscious, compassionate calculation. If his authentic self is a source of tension, then the most gracious act is to remove the source. His absence is not a stormy exit. It is a quiet closing of the door, allowing them to enjoy their harmony without the discordant note he cannot help but be. They may mistake this for coldness, when in truth it is a form of respect, for them and for himself. Number 5. The immunity to emotional artillery. When polite expectation fails, the family often escalates to emotional warfare. The invitation morphs into a moral decree. Family comes first. We sacrificed for you. You owe us this. The language is no longer about connection. It's about debt, duty, and guilt. These are not sentiments. They are control mechanisms. For most, they are devastatingly effective, triggering deep-seated programming that overrides personal truth. The guilt becomes a cage they willingly enter. But the Sigma male has dismantled those internal circuits. He has done the profound psychological work of differentiating between true responsibility and manufactured obligation. He recognizes emotional blackmail, regardless of the loving mask it wears. You should feel bad is an attempt to install a remote control in his psyche. You owe us is an attempt to collect on a debt he never agreed to incur. Family first is a dogma that demands he place their expectations above his own existential authority. And he refuses. His immunity is not heartlessness, it is clarity. He does not feel guilt for prioritizing his well-being. He does not acknowledge faux debts. He will not be manipulated into compliance. This immunity enrages the system because it renders their most powerful weapons useless. They cannot control a man who refuses to be punished by emotions he does not consent to feel. His absence, then, becomes a monumental statement. I will relate to you from authenticity, or I will not relate at all. But I will never again relate through coercion. He would respond to a simple, clean invitation. We'd love to see you if you wish to come. But that requires a relationship of equals, free of leverage. Often, the family would rather have his coerced presence than his free and willing absence. Number 6. The sanctuary of self. Has no open-door policy. For the Sigma male, the self is not a public commons. It is a sovereign nation with strictly enforced borders. A family gathering, by its very nature, is often a festival of boundary dissolution. Everything is considered communal property. Your income, your plans, your health, your heart. Questions are not inquiries. They are incursions. What are you making now? Why are you still single? When are you buying a house? To refuse to answer is seen not as a healthy act of boundary setting, but as a mysterious, even hostile, act of withholding. For others, this free flow of information is the glue of connection. For the Sigma, it is a form of psychological strip searching. He values privacy, not because he has something to hide, but because privacy itself is the nutrient-rich soil where his true self grows. In the constant glare of familial scrutiny, that soil turns to dust. So he spends the gathering on constant border patrol, deflecting, pivoting, diplomatically refusing, all to protect realms of his life that are not up for discussion. The family interprets this as coldness, secrecy, a lack of trust. The exhaustion he feels is not from socializing, but from the relentless psychic labor of defending his sovereignty against an army that believes it has a right of entry. His absence, therefore, is the ultimate boundary. At home, in his own space, his borders are inherent. respected by default. He chooses solitude not over family, but over the exhaustive, thankless defense of his basic right to a private inner world. He isn't keeping them out. He is preserving the very conditions that allow him to exist. Number 7. The conscription of the observer. The Sigma male's great strength is his detached perception, his ability to see the family system's patterns, dynamics, and unspoken truths with crystalline clarity. And the family, often unconsciously, recognizes this. They sense the power of his quiet mind. Thus, the gathering becomes his conscription into unpaid emotional labor. One by one, they corner him. The marital strife, the career confusion, the financial mess, the simmering feud with another relative. They dump their chaos at the feet of his calm, seeking his analysis, his solution, his psychological alchemy. Initially, he may engage. He offers the genuine insight that comes from seeing the board when others see only pieces. But he soon discovers the brutal truth. They do not want solutions. They want validation. They want permission to continue their cycles. They want a witness to their drama, not a guide out of it. When he offers a real, often difficult path forward, one requiring accountability or change, he is met with deflection, excuse, or resentment. His clarity becomes a mirror they angrily turn away from. He realizes he is not a healer here, but a psychic dumping ground, a repository for emotional waste they have no intention of processing. This is a profound violation. His greatest gift, his analytical, problem-solving mind, is being exploited for cheap catharsis, with no reciprocity, no respect for his energy, and no real change enacted. His absence, then, is a refusal of conscription. He will not donate his mind and emotional reserves to a cause that only perpetuates the dysfunction. He is not being selfish. He is preventing the theft of his inner resources. The family may see his absence as a lack of care, when in truth it is a fierce protection of his most valuable asset, his peace. Number 8. The uncelebrated summit. The Sigma male climbs mountains, but they are mountains of his own choosing, on a continent his family cannot map. He achieves success, financial, creative, personal, spiritual, but it is success architected from a blueprint they never approved. And here lies the cruel paradox. His victories, instead of being met with celebration, are often met with silent resentment or polite dismissal. Why? Because his unconventional triumph is a living critique of their conventional paths. It whispers that there are other ways to win, other definitions of a life well lived. If he has built wealth through unconventional means, it must be nice to have all that free time. If he has found deep contentment in a simple, uncluttered life, you'll want more someday. If he has mastered a rare skill or forged a unique path, but are you really secure? Compare this to the family member who checks a conventional box, promotion, marriage, suburban home, and receives a chorus of validation. The Sigma's different path receives, at best, a puzzled smile. At worst, it is treated as a concerning diversion from the real path. This is a profound psychological wound. To work in silence, struggle in solitude, and finally arrive at a hard-won summit, only to look down and see your own family refusing to acknowledge the height you've gained. Their applause is reserved for those who climbed the expected mountain. So he stops bringing his trophies to this arena. He celebrates his wins in the quiet of his own council. His absence from gatherings is, in part, a refusal to subject his joy to their dampening scrutiny. He protects his sacred achievements from an environment that would subtly tarnish them. He isn't hiding his light. He is refusing to let them dim it. Number 9. The emotional typhoon. For the Sigma male, his inner world is often a place of calibrated stillness, a managed ecosystem of thought and feeling. He operates not from repression, but from conscious modulation. His energy is finite, and he guards it with the vigilance of a sentinel. A family gathering is not a gentle breeze of emotion. It is a psychological and sensory typhoon. Unregulated laughter tipping into shouts, old grievances crackling like static, sudden tears, performative joy, simmering tensions that erupt without warning. It is a high-decibel carnival of unfiltered human drama. For family members acclimated to this climate, it is the weather of belonging. They are immersed in the emotional bath and find it nourishing. For the Sigma, it is sensory and emotional overload. His nervous system, tuned to a different frequency, is bombarded. The chaos is not stimulating, it is deconstructing. He isn't too sensitive in a fragile way, he is too perceptive in a structural way. He doesn't just hear the argument, he absorbs the decades of history fueling it. He doesn't just see the smile, he detects the disappointment behind it. The sheer volume of data, emotional, historical, non-verbal, is crushing. After hours in this environment, he is not simply tired, he is psychically concussed, drained in a way that sleep cannot fix. It requires days of silence to recalibrate, to lower the inner alarm bells, to restore the quiet garden of his mind from the stampede that just passed through. His absence, therefore, is a non-negotiable act of neurological self-preservation. He is not avoiding people, he is avoiding the internal hurricane their proximity triggers. The family mistakes his need for calm as a rejection of their passion, when it is simply a recognition of his own biological truth. Number 10. The liberating truth. He does not enjoy it. Strip away the analysis, the psychology, the justifications. Burn away the layers of expectation and obligation. At the very core, pulsing with simple, undeniable fact, lies this. He does not enjoy family gatherings. He never has. And he is done performing the pantomime of enjoyment for the comfort of others. This is the atom bomb of truth that the family system cannot, will not accept. All the pressure, the guilt, the narratives of phase or confusion, they are defenses against this bedrock reality. They believe enjoyment is mandatory, that it is a switch he refuses to flip. But he has tried. For years, decades perhaps, he attended. He smiled at the right times, made the required small talk, and searched in vain for the joy everyone assured him was there. It never came. Only the draining sense of being an actor in a play whose meaning he could not feel. Other family members genuinely find nourishment there, in the noise, the nostalgia, the collective memory. For the Sigma male, it is an energy vacuum. It offers him nothing but the expenditure of his precious, finite spirit. So he makes the only authentic choice left. He stops going, not out of spite, not from a place of woundedness, but from a place of radical self-honesty. He refuses to spend his one wild and precious life deliberately engaging in activities that diminish him. He chooses, with clear eyes and a calm heart, to invest his time where it yields growth, peace, or genuine connection. The family may call this selfish. He calls it integrity. They believe he will regret the missed moments. He knows he would regret the surrendered years spent pretending. His absence is his final, most powerful communication. I love you, in my way, but I will no longer betray myself to prove it. Number 11. The tyranny of superficial exchange. Understand that for the Sigma male, communication is not a pastime. It is a sacred exchange of substance. His mind is wired for depth, for patterns, for meaning that connects the micro to the macro. The very currency of the standard family gathering, the pleasantries, the recycled anecdotes, the surface-level updates on weather and widgets, is to him not just boring, but psychologically corrosive. It is a diet of empty calories for a soul that starves for authentic nourishment. Each "how's work" that cannot fathom his real answer, each "nice weather we're having" that stands in for a real connection, is a tiny death of potential. He does not engage in gossip or trivial speculation because to do so feels like committing treason against his own cognitive integrity. While others are lubricating social bonds with this oil of superficiality, he is acutely aware of the monumental, meaningful conversations that are not happening. The conversations about purpose, about fear, about the silent dreams gathering dust in every heart in the room. The gathering becomes a monument to what is avoided. His absence, therefore, is a refusal to participate in the conspiracy of the superficial. He would rather sit in profound silence alone than engage in hours of collective, meaningless noise. He isn't rejecting conversation. He is demanding that words have weight. And in an environment where lightness is the rule, his gravitational pull toward depth becomes a social offense. He chooses not to be the silent critic in the corner, and instead removes himself to spaces where silence is respected, and words, when used, are wielded with intent. Number 12. The soul's mandate for solitary integration. This is the transcendent reason, the one that underpins all others. The Sigma male is not merely an introvert or a loner by preference. He is, by the very architecture of his spirit, a solitary integrator. His primary relationship is with the cosmos, within and without. His deepest dialogues are with ideas, with nature, with the silent language of his own unfolding potential. Family gatherings, with their relentless focus on the external web of relations, violently pull him from this essential internal work. They demand he place his identity within the context of son, brother, uncle, while his soul is screaming to define itself only in relation to the infinite. For him, solitude is not emptiness. It is the crucible of becoming. It is where the fragments of experience are alchemized into wisdom, where noise is distilled into signal. A family gathering interrupts this sacred, ongoing process. It scatters the pieces of self he has been patiently gathering. His periodic retreats are not vacations from people. They are mandatory pilgrimages back to his own source. To deny him this is to ask a philosopher to leave his library forever, or a monk to abandon his cell. It is a demand that he cease the very work that gives his life meaning. His absence is a honoring of this soul-deep covenant. He is answering a call older and more urgent than any dinner bell. The family interprets his solitary integration as a failure to connect. In truth, it is his method of connecting to the source from which all genuine connection must later flow. He cannot give what he has not gathered in silence. He cannot truly be with them until he has, first and foremost, fully become. So see him now, not as missing, but as missioned. His empty chair is not a void in your circle, but a signpost pointing toward a different mountain. He is not lost to you. He is found in himself. The invitation he longs for is not to a noisy table, but to a quiet understanding. The ultimate reconciliation is not his attendance at your gathering, but your respect, from a distance, for the profound and necessary gathering he is conducting within. If you are the one who has always felt the silent friction in the room of your own birth, if your soul has recoiled from the script you were handed, see this not as a diagnosis, but as a declaration of legitimacy. You are not broken. You are not a project to be fixed by the well-meaning crowd, that hollow feeling in the pit of your stomach as the date on the calendar approaches. That is not ingratitude. It is your entire being sounding an alarm, a deep, biological, spiritual alarm, that you are about to enter an environment hostile to your fundamental nature. Listen to it. That urge to turn the car around, to invent the excuse, to simply stay in the sacred silence of your own space. That is not cowardice. It is the courage of self-preservation. It is the most ancient wisdom there is. The instinct to protect your flame from winds that would snuff it out. Let this be your permission slip, written in the ink of unshakable truth. You do not owe anyone the dismantling of your sanity. You do not owe them the performance of a version of you that died years ago. You do not owe them your energy, your insight, your peace, or your presence as a sacrificial offering on the altar of their comfort. Your first and most sacred covenant is with the integrity of your own soul. To the families listening, whose love is real but whose lens may be clouded by tradition, Please hear this. That empty chair is not a judgment. It is a mirror. It is asking you a question that might change everything. What are we really celebrating here? Is it the warm, glowing comfort of uniformity? Or is it the fierce, beautiful, and sometimes challenging diversity of the human spirits we call our own? The Sigma in your life is not asking you to change your gathering. He is asking you to release him from the obligation to attend it, to love him outside of its confines, to meet him on neutral ground, for a coffee, for a walk, in a way that honors the man he is now, not the ghost you remember. That is the bridge. Not guilt, not obligation, but curiosity. A genuine, humble curiosity about the world he has built, on his terms. And to the Sigma who is finally breathing a sigh of relief, who is feeling the weight of a decades-old performance lift from his shoulders. This is your beginning, not your end. Your path was never about rejection. It is about discernment. It is about building a life so authentic, so resonant with your core frequency, that every yes is powerful and every no is clean. Use the energy you once spent on deflection and defense. Use the hours you once lost to recovery from emotional typhoons. Pour them into your craft, your solitude, your growth, into building connections with those rare few who speak your silent language. You are not a missing piece of their puzzle. You are working on a different puzzle entirely, a masterpiece of one. So go. Guard your energy like the sacred resource it is. Cultivate your solitude like the fertile ground it is. And move through the world, not with apology, but with the quiet, unassailable authority of a man who has finally come home. To himself. The world needs the vision you forge in silence. It needs the integrity you protect. It needs the different rhythm you march to. Do not mute your song so their chorus can feel louder. Now go. Protect your peace. Honor your truth. Build your legacy. If this video hit home, don't just watch. Hit that like button and subscribe. Join this community of men who refuse to be ordinary. Click the video flashing on the screen to learn more about Sigma Male's insights. Stay focused, stay disciplined, and embrace the Sigma mindset. Thank you for watching.